Welcome all the students of 8th standard. Actually, if we see to make videos or to send videos, it is too much late for us to send the videos. Behind that, some reasons are there. See, first thing that about the issues of the network, it is another part. But the first, main important part that is till yesterday, I did not get the textbook. I was searching, but I did not get. Today, I got from my colleague. So, without wasting time or without making delay, it is better to start. So, in 8th standard history, we will take the first lesson of history, that is sources of history. In the sources of history, we have studied the sources of ancient and medieval Indian history. When we are learning history, we have studied the sources of ancient and medieval Indian history sources we studied. This year, we are going to learn modern Indian history. This year, we are going to learn the modern Indian history we are learning. Modern Indian history means the history of independence, the history of freedom that we are learning. Historical sources include material sources, written sources, and oral sources. In historical sources, when we are learning, it include material sources, written sources, and oral sources. These are the sources of history. Similarly, sources based on modern technology such as audio, video, and audio visuals are included. So, along with that, similarly, sources based on modern technology, which are the sources are there based on modern technology. In that, audio video is there and audio visuals are included there. The first one point, that is material sources. First one, material sources, various objects, monuments, places, coins, sculptures, etc. can be included in the material sources of history. So, number of the objects are there, monuments are there, places are there, coins are there, sculptures are there. They can be included into the material sources of history there. These are the material sources, objects, monuments, places, coins. Material means which we can see, which we can touch, which can be stable, that we can call as a, which can be made by the materials, that we can call as a material sources, like maybe metals or the stones. Next, the building and places. The period of modern Indian history is believed as the period of European, especially the British rulers and the governance of the princely state. In our country, the period of modern Indian history is considered as a period of British ruled period or the princely states of our country. To that period, we can call as a modern Indian history or the modern Indian period, the period in which Britishers ruled our country. In this period, various buildings, bridges, roads, water supply systems, fountain, etc. were built. In this period, this technique of these facilities, the British government started to be provide. They construct the road, water supply system, fountain, building, bridges. They started that. They build. These buildings include government offices, residency of officers, leaders, and revolutionaries. These buildings, it can be include the government offices or the residency of officers or residential areas or leaders and revolutionary places, their department, their offices. They started that. Leaders and the revolutionaries, places of rulers of princes, states, etc. built that. Forts or the prisons also. Among them or among these monuments, many buildings are intact even today. Among them, many buildings are there. They are intact today. Means they are still present today. They are present there. Some are declared as a national monument. That some of the sites are there, places are there declared as a national monument site, whereas some are converted into the museum, or some of the places are there, sites are there. So these sites or the places, they converted into the national museum, where they started the museum. For example, cellular jail in Andaman. This jail converted into the museum. While visiting the These sites we get information about the contemporary history. When we visit to such a site, then we get information about the contemporary history, or at the same time or the same period say history we get that. We get the information about contemporary history, architecture, nature of the monument, and also the economic condition of that particular period. Along with that, we get the information about the particular period information we get. Now, just as during the visit to Cellular Jail in Andaman, we get information about the revolutionary work of Vita Savarkar. When we visit, then we get the information about the places, about the site of Vita Savarkar's information we get when we visit to the Cellular Jail of in Andaman. By visiting the Mani Bhavan in Mumbai or Sevagram Ashram at Wardha, we get information about the history of Gandhi and Nehru also there. Along with that, when we visit to that museums in Mumbai, that Mani Bhavan, Sevagram, Mani Bhavan, there Savarkar's Sevagram Ashram, there we get the information of Mahatma Gandhi is there. So this is the information about the building and the places. Okay, remaining part will take tomorrow.